Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Pop Culture at Home. Today, we are joined by renowned design expert and Queer Eye star Bobby Berk. Thank you so much for joining us today, Bobby.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Les.
Yeah, awesome. And I just wanted to start with, since we are doing these from home and doing this in quarantine, how are you and your family doing during this time?
We're doing well. My husband and I, we've been together for 17 years. We have spent a lot of time away from each other during our relationship with work and filming. And so honestly, I was a little worried. I'm like, have we stayed together so long because we don't see each other that often? But alas, hey, 9 months, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we're still great without hardly any fights. So we're doing good.
I like to hear that. During this time, have you kind of had a little bit more inspiration? You've been at home for a long time now. Has this time at home kind of inspired you in different ways?
I think it's inspired me to be, I'd say more organized, but I've always been kind of organized. But it's inspired me to be a little bit more creative with working from home. I know a lot of people struggle with having your workspace right in the middle of your live space because not everyone
Mhm.
has that separate workspace at home. So having to make sure that I'm utilizing the ways to separate my live work environment, I think has caused me to get a little bit more creative. Yeah.
Okay, and creative in what ways exactly?
Just the functionality of spaces. Sorry, there's a gnat flying in front of me there in front of the
No
camera.
problem.
PayPal did a survey recently about, people working from home, and 60% of us that are working from home are still struggling.
Hmm.
We're still not dealing with it well. And then 40% of them are having fights with their spouses or significant others, roommates, kids about budget, because that's also really on our minds at the moment. So finding ways that you can make your workspaces from home work better for you and your kids' learning spaces is really important at the moment. I partnered with PayPal to come up with some easy tips, and they've come up with some new financial ways to make it easier on the budget. So being creative of making your workspace just your workspace, even when you're surrounded by other people, like noise canceling headphones. Normally at work, we wouldn't have on headphones necessarily. But I find that that's the only way for me not to, wring my husband's neck who thinks he's quiet when he's not. So keeping those noise canceling headphones on to drown out everything but either the Zoom call that you're on or, the work that you're trying to get done is super important. Also, like good lighting. Normally, you don't necessarily have to think about the lighting in your home and how other people see you, but bad lighting makes you look worse. More lighting makes you look better. That overhead light over you and your laptop, or that light right behind your head, is casting weird shadows on your face and making you look like you have dark circles when you don't. So get a good ring light, get a good lamp that has a diffused fabric shade on it that makes the light on your face even. So getting more creative with your lighting. Um, Also, like cord management, I was so annoyed in the beginning because my cords would be everywhere for my like earbuds and my iPhone and my iPad, and I kept like yanking them off the desk and knocking over my coffee. So I went out and I got a power strip that I normally would not have needed with the little USB ports and the plugs, so that way I can keep my cords organized. And then I got a new chair because you need a good office chair, but it doesn't have to be like an officey chair, because when we
Mhm.
all go back to the office, hopefully, you don't want to have this random office chair in your house, but you do need a chair that's going to support your back, because a lot of us I was sitting on my sofa all day working with my back uneven, and I was
Mhm.
starting to have a horrible back pain, more so than even normal. And I realized it was because I wasn't sitting at an even surface all day. Another great way, if you don't have like a separate office space in your home, get a tray and put that tray on the dining table, put your laptop, put your lamp, put whatever it is you need for work. And when that tray is out, it's work time. When work is over, you pick up the whole tray and everything on it and you slide it under a bed or put it under the coffee table, and it's no longer work. So that's a good way to separate the workspace by just removing it out of sight, but not having to like put away things in closets every day, and clean up every day. It's just everything is on this one tray and it goes away. Yeah.
Right.
One great thing that PayPal has done this year is they came up with a new solution called Pay in 4, which allows you to get these things that you need that you may not have the budget for at the moment and spread them
Mhm.
out over 4 interest-free payments. So that way you don't have to stress about the budget. You don't have to necessarily get in arguments about what you're getting. And you can use it at millions of online retailers where PayPal's already accepted and you shop as it is.
Awesome. And I think that that can really play into, holiday shopping as well, right? You have the holidays coming up. Everybody's trying to get presents, trying to get decorations. It's going to be a little bit of a different holiday this year. Um, that kind of ties into a question, and it's kind of like an, I guess, unorthodox question, but you did kind of touch upon it. I know for me, I'm going to be doing like Christmas over Zoom with like my extended family.
Mhm.
So like, did you have any like tips or ideas of like how to make my little Zoom setup or like anybody else's Zoom setup holiday friendly?
Um, I am always a big fan, honestly, of virtual backgrounds. So many we're we're having to allow people into our homes that
Hmm.
normally we wouldn't. Coworkers, like for me, like videos that I'm doing for publications and stuff, like we're letting all these people into our homes. Like, and our homes used to be like our only private space left in the world with how connected
Exactly.
the world is now. So I am totally good with virtual backgrounds that you can change all the time, especially with the holidays coming up. You can make a holiday one. I even created a bunch of them that you can download at bobbyberk.com. That's my office space behind me. You can download my office space and you can have my office space as your background.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I mean, if you want to set one up, you can, with a little holiday decor, but why stress yourself out? And why, to me, like my home is my last little private slice of the world. So I would much prefer to use a virtual background that I can just make look as cool as I want, or change the theme, or be on a beach, or be a Christmas tree. And I don't have to worry about thinking if people are judging what's going on in my house.
Yeah, and
And also, a virtual background is good if you have roommates or spouses that randomly walk in front of your camera. It keeps them from being seen.
that's always a plus, with these Zoom calls. Um,
Yeah.
and I did want to, before we do wrap up, or I just wanted to make sure that I did ask about Queer Eye, because as a big fan myself, I just wanted to know if there was any word on season 6. I know you guys started filming in Austin, like right at the start of the pandemic, so I was wondering if there were any updates there.
The only update we have is sometime in 2021. Obviously, since there's hopefully a vaccine on the horizon soon, that will definitely get us back sooner. Our show we're not on a closed set. A lot of shows are back to work, but they're on the same
Hmm.
set every day. They're dealing with the same people. We're literally dealing with thousands of different people at restaurants and stores and salons, and just, randomly walking down the street. So it's very hard for us to socially distance and to keep not only us safe, but our crew and our heroes as well. So once there's a vaccine, I think we'll be back to work very soon.
Awesome. Okay. We'll be thinking of that. I'm hoping for this vaccine and some kind of resolution to this crazy year. Um, have you been keeping in touch with the rest of the Fab Five during this time?
Yeah, we FaceTime all the time. And Karamo, him and I both live in LA, so we hang out in each other's yards and socially distance and have a good time. And so yeah, I get to see Karamo often, and the other boys I see via FaceTime.
Awesome. So I like to hear that you guys are still keeping in touch and everything. Um, and I know that there are like myself, there are so many people who just love Queer Eye, and it like really touches them in their hearts. It's a very emotional show, very uplifting show. I was just wondering, what does it mean for you to be a part of a project like that for so many years now?
To be able to be a part of a show that not only has been, a success, but to be able to be on a show that really does truly help people, and not just the people that we help on the show, but then the people that watching get helped, and the people that we help on the show then go out and become inspirations of their own, and help other people. So it feels really good to be able to be on a show that people have really embraced,
Hmm.
that is doing good in the world as well. There's a lot of shows out there that are highly successful, but they're really not doing anything to help people. So it feels good to be on a show that's doing the most and also helping people in the process.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so like my final question here to wrap up. What message do you have for Queer Eye fans? Those who are still waiting on the next season, and just in general, what message do you have for the fans who are following the show for so many years and who dearly love it?
stay strong. We'll be back. Rewatch old seasons. Lots of content on YouTube as well. I always love it when I get messages from fans who are like, oh, I went to watch one video about you guys on YouTube, and then I fell into a YouTube hole for about 37 hours. You guys have a lot of content out there. A lot of fun interviews that we've done throughout the years that are all available. But yeah, just stay strong, love each other, be patient with each other, and we'll all be okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a lovely note to end on, a lovely and positive note. I would just like to thank you so much for taking the time to speak to popculture.com with us today. And if anybody watching wants to know more about Bobby, Queer Eye, anything else related to the shows, head out to popculture.com and you can check it out. And thank you so much again, Bobby, for being with us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, love.